and this station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays. The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, everybody. We are here on the Niko Project, live here Sundays, 1 to 2 p.m. Here to my left today, I have the one and only Darius Luft, the Lincoln All-American here in track and field. Darius is the indoor record for the 60-meter hurdles and also the outdoor 110-meter record holder with times of 7:54 and 13:32. This past season in 2023, Darius placed third at indoor nationals, and then outdoor he placed sixth, which makes him an All-American. Darius is also a two-time NCAA champ, and then helped us score points at the Big Ten Championship this past outdoor to help us win the team championship. So Darius Luft, how are we feeling about being on the show today, man?
Man, I'm glad to be back, Went on the last one, but been waiting to come see the new studio down here, especially. I've seen it from the outside, but it's my first time in here, and it's nice.
Hey, man, it's not every day I get an All-American up in the studio, man. Brand new studio right here in downtown Lincoln, right here on O Street. So check us out whenever. As I said before, we're live from 1 to 2 every single Sunday. So Darius, let's kick this thing off, man. The first question I love to ask all my contestants and guests on my show is, why the University of Nebraska-Lincoln? I know you are the state record holder here in Nebraska. You grew up in Lincoln, but I am aware that beforehand you were committed to other universities. You had other offers. I mean, you were killing it out of high school, but why did you decide to stay home?
I mean, ultimately, my first commit was at North Dakota for football because throughout, almost my entire high school career, I had no offers for track or nobody really looking at me. I got those first recruitment letters,
Junior day visit,
that everybody sends you, but
right.
Not a whole lot of interest from anybody. So I originally committed for football because I thought that's where I was going to go with it. Not a lot of talk with track, and then from there, Indiana started talking to me, and I took my official visit there, and I really liked it down there. I ended up committing there on my visit. And then during that time, Nebraska was talking to me, but at the same time, they said they were going to offer me, but they weren't actually
They're just
being serious about it. I think they just assumed right away that they were going to get me because I was an in-state kid. But once I committed to Indiana, that kind of let them know that I'm not just going to stay in Nebraska and you have a little competition. So once they saw that, I ended up getting offered from Nebraska. And I mean, that's kind of where I always wanted to be anyway. I was just kind of waiting for that offer. So once I finally got that offer, I mean, I couldn't pass up staying in Lincoln with my family, everything being here. So, I mean, it all just worked out. I always wanted to be a Husker. It was just a matter of time until they offered me.
Right. You kind of leveraged that offer. Where did you say at North Dakota to play football, right, beforehand?
Yeah, North Dakota, then Indiana, and then Nebraska.
And then Nebraska, yeah. Right. Have you ever thought about walking onto the football team? I know football was a big part of your career in high school. Did you ever consider it?
I mean, yeah, my first couple of years, I kind of considered playing football in Nebraska.
Instead of track?
No, I was always going to run track. I mean, I never thought I would fully switch, but in my head, you play high school football.
I know how it is.
Those first couple of years after, you really miss it, and you're like, life without football is tough.
Exactly.
So I considered it in my head, but there was nothing ever that serious about that actually happening. But obviously, you play football once, and once it's over, you always kind of think about.
You got that itch, man. You're like, man, I could have gone to college. I could have gone to the league.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I know exactly how that is. So you end up making the decision to stay here in Nebraska, and you graduated high school in 2019, correct?
Yeah.
So 2019. So you were the last graduating class before COVID. Talk to us about how COVID kind of messed up your transition between college and high school. So that would have been your freshman year, right, where COVID and the whole entire thing went down. What was that experience like for you?
So my COVID experience is probably completely different from everybody else's COVID experience. So I had my indoor season of freshman year, and I got sixth indoors. I had a good season and all, but that long college season, I was not prepared for my freshman year compared
Right.
to the short one you get in high school season. So honestly, COVID for me hit at like the perfect time because I was getting drained just from indoor season. And honestly, I don't know how well I would have been able to run come that outdoor season. Like my body was already breaking down. I was kind of just over it at that point. So when COVID hit, I was almost kind of excited because like in that time, I was almost like losing my love for track.
Right.
But having like whatever that was, like almost a whole year of doing nothing, like not being able to run or anything, like kind of made me realize like how much I was taking track for granted. And like so not being able to run or anything just kind of refueled that fire for me. So like I came back and didn't have the greatest sophomore season, but I at least like had the love for track again because my freshman year I wasn't really like having fun with it.
Right.
But having COVID, like COVID messed a lot of people up, not being able to train and it sucked. But for me, like it couldn't have came at a better time for my career because that's the reason like I came back so hungry my sophomore, junior, senior year and all that. Because if that would have never happened, I don't know, I would have been really burnt out of track after just that freshman year. So like it happened for a perfect time for me.
Right. The perfect storm. That's a unique experience. I never really heard everybody be able to turn COVID into a positive experience like that. I mean, you got what extra eligibility on top of that too. What was that considered? Is that like a COVID year of eligibility, or was that a redshirt year? What do they consider that?
I think it's a COVID year. I
It's
think
COVID
that's
year.
the reason I'm allowed to be here my 5th year
Right.
this year. Yeah. Otherwise I would have been gone.
Man, to think about that. I mean, we're gonna use you a lot this season. I mean, you're a big part of this team, and like I said before, two-time Big Ten champion. So that's 10 points out indoors, 10 points outdoors, and those are crucial points, especially when it comes down to the later parts of our Big Ten championships. Man, every single point counts, and that's actually something I do want to get into with you. So you said that your sophomore year and your junior year, you had good experiences running, but at the same time too, you were always chasing that Big Ten championship. And we were talking a little bit before this, and you said like, man, like all I wanted was to be a Big Ten champion. And I want you to go ahead and tell the story. But the theme I want to get across was this past season for you was Darius Love's revenge tour. Because like I said before, you want to be a Big Ten champion. Your sophomore and junior year, freshman year even, you weren't able to achieve that. But then this year, you doubled down. You went indoor and outdoor, and now you're one of the most feared hurdlers in the nation. Go ahead and talk to us about what it took to get that, what it took to lead up to that. Because I remember you fell the year before. I think one year you didn't make the final. I mean, you've had a crazy ride, and then for now you have what 2-3 rings in your finger now. I mean, that's a hell of an accomplishment.
Yeah. I mean, a lot went into that. One, like, I'll just start this with a piece of advice because one thing that track athletes have to understand is the year you think that it's going to be your year, something's always going to happen. It very rarely plays out perfectly how you think. So, like, I got 6th indoor my freshman year, 6th indoor my sophomore year, and then my junior year, I think I might have got 6th again. I honestly don't remember, but it was like back to back to back. I was getting the same place and it just felt like I was stuck. And then the one year Coach E came and I finally feel like I started to have a breakthrough and I was running faster times. And I just felt better overall in general. Um, Obviously, I ended up false starting in the prelims, or I ran a PR in the prelims and then false started in the final, which was like in my eyes, that was my year to win. I had put in the work. I had taken those losses the years before. It was my time to win, and then I false started in the finals, and that was probably one of my lowest times of college. Like, shout out to my dad because as soon as that happened, I kept my cool on the track, and then I had to make my way off the track and get somewhere where nobody could see me because I was pissed. I was throwing things. I couldn't let anybody see that weakness in me though. But I was in the locker room. I was crying. Emotions were all over the place. I thought for sure this was my time. My dad came and found me, and he talked some sense into me and let me know like you have more chances. This isn't the end. Like I had opportunity to go to nationals after that, so it wasn't like the end of my season or anything. Without him in that moment, I probably would have sat in that locker room for a few hours, just feeling sorry for myself. But he talked some sense into me and made me pick my head up and I got over it pretty fast because I had nationals to focus on at that point. But that really just fueled the fire for my senior year, where I broke the record and ended up finally winning. But yeah, that was one of the toughest times going through that false start because my family, everybody thought, this is finally my year. I wanted to come in and win it every year, and I was already 3 years down in college, no Big Ten titles, so it just felt like the end of the world when that had happened.
Yeah, I remember I was at home watching live, man. We're blowing up the group chat like, man, this is crazy. Because I think you heard a noise in the stands or something was going on where like you ended up jumping the gun. What was it to you? Did you just jump the gun or did you actually hear something?
So yeah, some people said there was like noises going on. I don't physically remember hearing anything. I mean, I'll use that if that makes it sound better, but I personally think I just timed it perfectly. I was just so locked in that day. Like I hit the gun at the perfect time, but like it was too perfect to where they had
Yeah.
to call the false start. But personally, to this day, I think I got that gun at the exact right time.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. Like I said, watching that at home, we're like, dude, this is Darius's year. Come on. Like, why does this have to happen? But then for you to be able to do that, though, to keep your composure on the track and then obviously do what you got to do afterwards, you got to let that emotions out in order to get past it. But I mean, to keep your composure on the track, I don't know a lot of athletes, even myself speaking, that are able to do that because I definitely would have lost my cool. I would have been like, throwing stuff like it takes a lot of maturity to be able to, keep her cool in that moment, especially after all the work that put in because, like your dad said, in the future, you got a lot more opportunities. Next thing you know, you come back the next year, absolutely blow the field away. You come into nationals. And that's actually what I want to get into with my next point here, indoor nationals. So you go to indoor nationals, you run 7:54 in the prelims.
Yeah.
And so you were just blazing out of you blaze through the prelims, break the school record in the prelims, going crazy. I'm like, dude, this man Darius is about to take it all. Like, I don't know what I just watched. That was crazy. And then you get to the final and you're getting into the blocks. Go ahead and tell the people what happened with you and the officials when you're setting up to run your final race to win a national championship.
So, they have the officials. They got 2 or 3 back there watching your blocks at the national meet. So there's a rule that apparently we all found out about after the fact that you have to have the front part of your spikes touching the pad before you go into set. And for me, with the new spikes, the way they're set up, like they don't really bend a lot. They're pretty stiff. So it's hard for me to get my foot right in the block. So I would have my foot into the ground. And then when I go into set, my heel gets on the block. But that's illegal in their eyes in the rule book. So I had done that all of my years, even in the prelims, everything. No one said anything to me. Like it wasn't a problem until we got to finals.
Mm.
So I do my warm up. I even did my warm up start in front of them and they said nothing. But then they said on your mark. So I start to get in and I put my foot where I have always. And then the ladies back there, harassing me saying, move your foot back. So I moved it back a little. I was trying not to put it all the way on the block because I know that's going to mess me up. So I move it back just a little. And she's like, lane 4, you still got to move it back. And I'm like, all right. So I move it back a little bit more. And I'm still trying not to touch the pad. So at that point, she was getting fed up and I was getting fed up. But she said she had to stand everybody up and came and talked to me. And at that point, like, we're seconds away from the national title. And I got to sit here and listen to you talk to me. Like, I was so over it. I really wasn't listening to her at all. I was just trying to stay locked in. But so she told me I was going to have to do that or she was going to kick me out the race. So I'm like, all right, at this point, I'm going to have to put the foot back and just go with it. But in my mind at that point, I'm like, it's not going to matter. Like, I just ran 7:54. Like, no one can touch me at this point. So I get back into the blocks and I had to put my foot back on the block that time. But when I put my foot back and go into set, my whole foot slides down on the block. And you would think at a national championship meet with all those people watching your feet so hard that somebody would have noticed that my foot moved before they blew the gun, but nobody did. So I had to just go with the flow. Ended up getting out horribly, probably last to the first hurdle. In my eyes, I walked everybody down. And like I was telling you before, coming off that last hurdle, I was feeling so good. I had just walked everybody down. All I just needed was a solid finish, and I think I still would have won. But I came down in my trail leg foot. I kind of dropped my hips off the hurdle, and then I was kind of just falling forward into that finish line. So I ended up getting leaned out by 2 people and getting third. But in my eyes, yeah, I don't know. That lady's not my favorite.
That is frustrating though, because like you mentioned before, you were locked in. Like you're locked in. You're not even trying to think about anybody or anything. And then, she's messed you to, hey, trail leg. And I remember too, they stood you up. She's talking to you. And Coach E still mentions this to this day. He's like, man, that lady would just not leave Darius alone. It's almost like they had a hit out for you. They're like, man, this dude just ran 7:54. All right, we're gonna do everything he can to make sure he doesn't win this race. That's almost what it felt like. But I mean, that's still an amazing accomplishment. I mean, 7:54 for a record that you've been chasing for a while. coming into college, is that a record that you've always been kind of aiming towards, or is that one of those things where, you know, if it happens, it happens?
What, like the school record?
The school record, yes.
I mean, yeah, coming in, that was obviously my goal. I wanted to be, because I don't know if you know this or not, I hold every hurdle record for every age group in the state of Nebraska. So summer track, every age group there is, I have that record. So like, it just made sense to want to go to college and have that University of Nebraska record, because at this point now I hold every record no matter what,
right?
Any age group for hurdles in Nebraska. So like, that's always been a goal of mine. The time hasn't necessarily been like my biggest goal. That Big Ten title was kind of higher up for me, but the time came with winning the Big Ten title and stuff like that. So that was one of my goals, but I wanted the rings was the biggest goal.
Yeah, I agree, man. I mean, like I said, 754 and then transitioning to outdoor 213.32. You mentioned that it took running a school record in order to get that title outdoor. Did you feel that there was more competition than there was indoors? Because, like I said, both of them you seem to have ran away with it. But I mean, which one was more seamless for you, indoor or outdoor?
I feel like the amount of competition was the same indoor and outdoor. Like it was the same two people that were going to be close to me.
Who was it? Michigan, right? Michigan and someone
else?
else?
Yeah, Michigan and Brighton.
And Brighton, yeah. Teammate.
And really, that's what made it so easy. Having Brighton at practice has been like just a blessing, because I didn't like Brighton my first couple of years of college, because we were like rivals at that point. He had beat me a few times, I had beat him. But having him at practice, like it was like every day at practice, I'm racing my Big Ten competition. Like,
right.
Yeah, Josh Zeller at Michigan, he was good, but Brighton in my eyes is better. So like I'm racing him every day in practice. Going to the Big Ten meet, nothing's really different. It's just like practice, me and Brighton going against each other.
Right.
Yeah.
And the indoor too, going 1-2. I mean, scoring 18 points just in the hurdles alone. What was that experience like?
That was amazing. Like, just obviously for me, like that moment meant so much to win my first title after everything that happened last year, and then see him, like, you know, you've seen Brighton celebrate when he gets like when
crazy,
he wins,
bro.
Like, yeah, Brighton, like that's the only time he shows his real self. So like, it felt good. Like I was so happy that I had won. My parents were there and all that, but to see Brighton happy too, like to us go 1-2, and just for Coach E, his first year being the head sprints and hurdles coach, and we go 1-2 in the Big Ten. Like, man, that was just a full circle moment. Like it was just good for everybody.
Yeah. And like you mentioned before, for Coach E, that was a great moment as well. I had him on the podcast last week, and he scored like 38 points or 42 points just within the sprints individual. I mean, Nick won it, you won it, and Bryant got second. I got seventh in the 8. 4x4 took second. There were so many people that I guess did such amazing things at that thing. And, you know, for you guys to drop 18 points, I mean, for anybody out there who doesn't know, to go 1 through 5 in any event is crazy, but to go 1-2, I mean, it is just actually, you know, it's a feat that not a lot of coaches or athletes get to experience here in the Big Ten. So I'm going to go ahead and send us in a break, and we're going to go ahead and learn more about Darius's career and more about his personal life after this.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them.
right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid knows it's dangerous.
5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
So yeah, that sounded like Heinrich's the guy. I think he said again, Heinrich's got to improve his conditioning, which is one of the most confounding things I've heard. He looks like a decathlete. I mean, he's not a dumpy quarterback.
Oh, he runs.
He's one
fast.
of the best looking athletes on the campus.
Look at the run he had for the touchdown in that game. He looked pretty
Look
fast.
at the dude. How can his conditioning be bad?
What is this about?
It might be about that they asked him to do about everything.
He's carrying it 20 times a game.
Right.
He's a quarterback.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here. I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Protect your legacy. Visit ready.gov/plan for the tools and tips you need to start your emergency preparedness plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you want to come and text us, if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
this is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to all the listeners out there. We are here live on the Niko podcast. It is 1 to 2. It is about 1:30 p.m. here on this Sunday, where we go live every single Sunday. I'm here with All-American Nebraska track and field star Darius Luff. Darius won indoor and outdoor Big Ten championships in the 60 and 110 hurdles. Darius is an All-American, placing 3rd indoors at nationals and 6th outdoors at nationals. And before this, we were talking about a little bit about Darius's performances, how he got to the University of Nebraska. He mentioned that he thought he was going to play football. Next thing you know, Nebraska gives him a real nice track and field scholarship. He pursues track and field here. He holds every single hurdle record from the age of 12 to the college era for Nebraska. He holds both indoor and outdoor school records. And right now, we're going to dive a little bit more into Darius's personal life. Something that me and Darius always connect on. We're big Fortnite guys and just gaming guys in general. Whenever I try to get a free chance, me and Darius are always on. He has PlayStation, but I have Xbox, and we're always playing together. He's dropping 36 kills on Fort like he's a hacker or something. Darius, go ahead and talk about what you'd like to do and to unwind and get away from all the craziness in track and field. Is it just gaming? Is there any other side hobbies you like to get into? Tell the people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big advocate for video games. I mean, everybody on the track team knows that. I mean, when you're doing so much schoolwork and like track's taking so many hours of your day, like you have to be able to disconnect from all that. Like,
right.
You can't go home and just do schoolwork. Like, sometimes you have to. Like, you don't have a choice. But
sometimes,
yeah, if you have a choice, like it's really important to disconnect because like your mental health, like it just becomes so much of that you're constantly worried about school, track, everything. Like you got to have something, whether it's video games or whatever. You got to have something that can make you disconnect. Like for me, it's obviously video games. Everybody on the team knows. Like we play for it, but like my biggest thing is like I focus on my school, I do my track, and then once I'm done with that, I want to go home. Me and my girl, we're gonna hop on Fortnite. Like that's our thing. We're gonna hop on Fort. We're gonna watch a movie. Like that's my de-stressor. That's what I like to do. That's what keeps me fresh. But I think video games get a bad rap, and like growing up, parents always tell you like get off the video games and stuff. But especially now more than ever, like video games have such a potential. Like you can get so famous and make so much money playing video games.
Streamers,
like,
right?
There's not really a reason to not be playing video games at this point. Like whether it's for fun or you're trying to build something to make some money, like there's just video games they're amazing. Really, there's nothing better.
Hey man, you're an All-American in track and field. You're one of the best athletes I know or even ever met for track and field. Like I said, anytime I bring your times up or even just mention your name, it seems that you're famous here in the town of Lincoln or even just across the NCAA. Like I said, this man right here is the most feared hurdler in the NCAA. Like you mentioned the name Darius Luff anywhere, they're gonna know exactly who you're talking about. And this guy, he was like, yeah, man, I just love playing the game. Like everybody thinks like, what does he do outside of his free time? Like he has to be at the track like 3 a.m. on some Kobe stuff, doing hurdle drills, watching hurdle videos, just an absolute freak. But no, bro, he's playing the game, bro, having a good time, chilling, watching movies. He's one of the most chill people I know. And that's to me is one of the most unique parts about you. It's just like, yeah, like I just like to chill. I have my business on the track, but when I'm disconnected, I'm disconnected. I'm not even talking about it.
Yeah.
So transitioning to our next point, getting a little bit more personal now. So let's go ahead and talk about the diet. So I know that different athletes and different nutrition. This is gonna be the best part about this podcast, in my opinion. Darius, I want you to give the people kind of a rundown on your view on diets and your view on I don't know, like you've had such success the way that you've been doing things. And if there's a term out there, there's a saying that if it's not broke, don't fix it. Go ahead and tell the people what your diet's looking like.
Okay, so in the past, I'll tell you my diet was in the past because right now this year I have been more like I've been paying a lot more attention to my diet or like make sure I'm eating at training table and eating somewhat healthy. I mean, like in the past, I was eating fast food every night and I'm still eating fast food very often. Like, I love fast food, but like Coach E knows when we're out at meets, like, and we get our meal money, I'm not going to go somewhere and spend a bunch of money on that with that meal money. I'm going to go to Wendy's and get a Baconator or something like
Baconator.
Hours before the meet, my lunch before the race. I'm going to go get a Baconator or something like and I was telling you this at practice. I think your body's somewhat it can get used to what you're eating. Like I necessarily
You can
don't
adapt.
I don't believe that it matters that much, truly.
Oh
Like,
man.
because if you think about it, kids that grow up eating healthy, like their parents force them to eat healthy
Right.
their whole life, they have to eat one bad thing and like their stomach is hurting, like they're bloated, they can't even function because they had one like burger of fast food.
Right.
I feel like I'm so adept at this point. Like I can eat a fast food burger like hours before my race and I'm gonna be just fine. Like it really, I don't see the point in it. Like if you're trying to gain muscle and certain stuff like that, there's certain stuff you should be eating and that type of thing. But overall, like I don't necessarily think like when they say like the food is your fuel, it is to an extent, but like no matter what you put in, to me, I feel like you're gonna get the same out. Like it does. I don't see much of a difference in it, and that may just be for me, but that's how I've always experienced it. Like up until this year, I've never focused on my diet or trying to eat really good at all. Like I usually just if I go to a training table, I'm gonna get some type of chicken nuggets, chicken tenders, chicken wings, any
Gotta be
type
fried.
of chicken. I'm gonna get a full plate of a meat, maybe some fruit, and that's about it. Like I don't eat any vegetables. I don't do any of that. I'm just gonna get my protein. I'm gonna get a good amount of whatever it is, fish, chicken, anything like that. And it's always worked for me. Like I don't do a whole lot of carbs unless I'm eating like a fast food burger or something. But like rice and stuff like that. I'm just I like to eat the meat that I just like to eat like chicken and stuff like that, and everything else is kind of just extra. As long as I get some type of meat, I think I'm gonna be fine regardless.
Yeah, you know who you remind me of? You were the track version of Ocho Cinco.
I knew you were
Chad
gonna say that,
Johnson, bro.
yeah.
Every day McDonald's, bro. McDonald's. Yours
McDonald's.
might be the Wendy's Baconator. Everybody has their own thing, but that is actually crazy to me that, as I mentioned before, one of the most feared hurdlers in the nation. He says his favorite go-to pre-meal snack is a Baconator. And so me, as an 800-meter runner, I want to make it past 400 meters if I had a Baconator before I race. Like I think it has to be different because your event is so technical.
Yeah.
Form is everything, as you mentioned before. Your hips got to be up. You got to make sure you nick one hurdle, it's going to throw off all of your rhythm. Your race is all about rhythm. My race is all about what you're putting into your body. It's an aerobic race. You got to be fit. I'm out here running, 25 miles a week, going on 6-mile runs. And then you're just chilling, having a Baconator, playing for, and then, taking names, destroying kids. Like, I think that is absolutely awesome. So, like I said before, everybody has their own thing. You said that if your body's not used to it, and, you've been eating healthy, you have one bad thing, you're going to feel terrible. But for you, if you've been eating bad and you're adapted to it, why not?
I know. I mean, it is different for you, obviously. Like, I have the luxury of running a very, very short event. So, like, I don't have to worry about throwing up after my race or anything like that. So I do have the luxury with that, and it is different. But like you said, it is more important when you get to like 800, 400 meters, stuff like that. You do have to like pay attention a little more what you're eating, like race day. But yeah, I run a short race, and I don't think that Baconator is going to change
That's
a whole
awesome.
lot.
That is absolutely awesome, man. So let's transition a little bit. So we got about your personal life, we got about the diet. What advice would you have out there for anybody who wants to become a Division I hurdler? Anybody out there who wants to become just a collegiate hurdler in general? What do you think it takes to be a performer at the next level? Does it take watching a lot of footage? Does it take a lot of natural talent? What does it take to become a D1 hurdler?
I mean, the biggest thing with becoming a hurdler, like a good hurdler, is for me, it was kind of different. Like a lot of kids, I hurdled for a long time growing up. Like my dad got me into it very early. So like I've been working on form I've been hurdling for over 10 years at this point. So
Right.
like the biggest thing, like a lot of people have the natural talent to like be fast and run hurdles, but it takes so much time to get every little thing down correctly. Like I've been going for over 10 years and I still do handfuls of things every day that are wrong. Like my hurdling form is not perfect by any means, but like the more you hurdle, like you just have to keep hurdling. And I was fortunate to have coaches growing up that were helping me with my form. Like, so some people that aren't as fortunate to have a coach that knows what to be looking for and things like that, it can be tougher. But like with TikTok and stuff now, like there's so many accounts that have great hurdle drills. There's an account on Instagram called the Hurdle Clinic or something like that I use a lot of their videos to work on stuff that I'm working on. like there's a lot of things that you can go out and you can figure out what you should be working on and things like that. But you just have to like to be a hurdler, you have to hurdle a lot. Like it just takes time and repetition because you can know what to do right and wrong, but getting that to actually happen over every hurdle is so hard and takes so much time. You just have to keep working at it. It takes so many reps to finally get that down. And even the Olympic hurdlers, like they're still messing up on every little thing. So like you're never gonna be perfect, but it just takes reps and practice.
Yeah, very critical. It takes a lot of form, a lot of repetition, as you mentioned. And first and foremost, I want to give a shout out to your dad, Scotty Luff. For him to invest into you so early, and as you mentioned before, he's always been there to pick you up. Like when you false start at that Big Ten championship, and he was the first guy to go in there. Like, hey man, listen, this sucks. Take it in, but the next thing you know, like you're gonna come back next year even stronger. And like you said, you've been 10 plus years at it. You're here at the collegiate level, potentially in contentions to take things to the next level, maybe even go pro, depending on how your season goes this year. So for anybody out there that's listening, it takes a lot of footage. Track Clinic, I think, or Hurdle Clinic is what you mentioned on Instagram to follow them. And even watching Darius too, you can watch all of his races online. If you look up Darius Luff, Nebraska, you're going to find almost all of his races, all of his Big Ten races, national races, to try to mimic him. That's what all the greats do. That's what I do for my event. For the 800, I look up the best. I watch the Olympics. I watch people that I want to mimic my form like and be like. And slowly but surely, you just become that. And then next, people are going to mimic you if you take things to the next level. So it's real cool to be here today and talk to you about this kind of stuff because you're the first hurdler I had on the show and first All-American that's able to kind of, talk about stuff like this. So,
Yeah, I mean, if kids are in Lincoln that want help hurdling and stuff like that, we have our Husker track camps, one coming up too here soon. So, I mean, I'm gonna be coaching it, and Coach E will be there, and we'll have athletes and actual coaches. So if you want some actual hands-on help and see what we do, I mean, come to the track camps. Like I'm gonna be there coaching them. So like, if you really want help, that's a great place to be, especially when it's cold here in Nebraska.
No indoor season.
There's no indoor season, really nowhere to run except Trackville out there. But besides that, there's not a whole lot of places that you can get help to be a hurdler or even run in the winter here in Nebraska. So if you really want that help, the Husker track camp's like the best place to be.
Yeah, no doubt. So we're going to go ahead and knock into our last break here. And this was a little bit more about Darius Luff's personal life. So see you guys after this.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Okay, kids, Dad's gonna teach you how to dance. First, spread your feet apart. Then, pump your knee, nod your head, shake your hips, and bite your lip ever so slightly. Now, with one hand in the air, point at people with the other hand. I call that the rock star.
Dance like a dad. It's a great way to make a moment with your kids.
Now, make a face like it just smells something bad.
Visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Most parents have a homework schedule for the weekdays, but don't forget to cover the weekends. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. A good way to avoid a problem is to set a homework schedule for the weekend. Set aside a couple hours of homework time on Saturday and help your student avoid staying up late Sunday night to finish a project. Remember, communicating with your child's teacher is vital for student success.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
by their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak. Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
I'm Christy. I used to smoke cigarettes. I had smoker's cough and severe shortness of breath, and I knew I had to quit. Then I tried e-cigarettes, but I just ended up using both. I really didn't start to get better until I quit smoking completely. My tip to you is just cutting down on the number of cigarettes you smoke isn't enough.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out.
Welcome back,
I know you may
everybody.
think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
If you struggle with joint pain, there's good news. You don't need surgery to get back to full health. South Point Medical and Aesthetics offers breakthrough non-surgical options for treatment of moderate to severe joint pain. Our patients experience little to no downtime from our procedures, and the results are remarkable. They've had 14 years of successful treatments with patients from 35 states because of an effective word-of-mouth traffic. Learn more about how you can get lasting results for joint pain today at southpointmedical.com or call 402-323-8400.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back here live here at the Ticket radio station here on 93.7, live every single Sunday, 1 to 2. This is Niko Schultz and the Nebraska track and field team. And here's my left today. I've had Darius Love. I've had the honor of having an All-American hurdler from Nebraska at the University of Nebraska track and field team here in Lincoln to be on the show today. So Darius, we're going to go ahead and jump into our last 5-minute segment here. And before you mentioned that your freshman, sophomore, and even junior year, you were kind of fighting between that 6th place, 5th place, some nicks here and there, between falling between hurdles. And you said your senior year or your junior, like your senior year, between your senior year and now, you really figured it out, and you accredited a little bit of that to Coach Emmanuel coming in, helping you out, kind of opening things up for you. Do you think that coaching for you is a big part of why that switch happened, or do you think it was a mature thing? You mentioned before that you have been hurdling for over 10 years, and it was just till now where you ended up winning Big Ten championships, placing within the top 6 at nationals, getting that All-American status. What do you think it's been, the switch? Was it a mental switch? Was it a coaching thing, or do you think it was just timing?
I mean, yeah, I think it's just timing with everything. I mean, my first 2 years of college, I was kind of the same build, same weight, same strength as my high school self, if not maybe even a little weaker, honestly. Right. So with Coach E coming in, it was kind of perfect time. I was at the point in my career where I was like, I know I can be good, but I've been pretty average the last couple of years, and like I needed to take that step. And Coach E coming in, like we just kind of hit it off right away. Like when you have a coach that you respect so much and you trust like everything they're saying and everything they want you to do, it makes a whole difference. Like, and Coach E was the first coach to really like hold me accountable in the weight room, because before that, I mean, I don't know if you were here for that. I was not in the weight room at all. Like,
I heard the stories.
I wasn't lifting. My whole philosophy with that was I didn't want to feel sore for the workouts. I wanted to be fresh, but then like I would end up being fresh in the fall and then hurt and feel like crap when we got to the outdoor season. But with the lifting, Coach E's like made me to a point get in the weight room and stuff like that. And I was always a guy that I didn't think you necessarily needed heavy weights to run track, but it's really just been the weight room has been the biggest difference. I've finally taken that very serious. I mean, last year was the first time I've lifted through a whole season, and I mean, all the outcomes that came last year, I mean, it obviously paid off. So Coach, he told me again this summer, I don't need to be running. I just need to stay in the weight room. And I did that. And now I'm not necessarily any heavier or anything that I was last year, but I'm way stronger. My body feels way better than it did last year at this time. Like, I think the weight room has just been the reason that I took a big step. It's so important, and for so many years, I neglected that side of it. So like, I regret not being in the weight room that long, but I'm glad Coach E finally came in and made me do that and show me how important it is and how much it can help with my start and things like that.
Right. Yeah, you have the experience, and then now you even have the accolades on top of that too. And even from a young age too, you've been kind of doing things your own way, and things have really been working out for you. And the story that I want you to mention before we have to close out here is about your state meet. I want to say your senior year in the 300-meter hurdles. I think you ended up falling in the prelims, getting up and still ending up making the final and winning the race. Go ahead and tell the people about that crazy story.
So yeah, it was prelims. It was the first day for the 300 hurdles. And I ran in 300 hurdles in the state of Nebraska is not very fast at all. So I was running like 39, and I was winning every race by a good chunk. So 300 hurdles, you run the straightaway, then you go on the curve. And I was on the last hurdle coming off of the curve for that final straightaway. And I'm not exactly sure what happened. I think I jumped so high over the hurdle that when I went to put my lead leg down, the track wasn't there. So I ended up doing a full somersault off the hurdle. Getting up. By the time I had got up back on my feet, I was pretty much tied with everybody else in my heat. So like, I had put enough of a gap to where I could somersault, get up, and still be right with everyone.
That's awesome.
And at that point, like, I knew if I'm head to head with them, regardless if I fell or not, I'm gonna pull away and win. So I ended up, I got back up and pulled away and did win that. And I ran like 40 point or something. So I got kind of a crappy lane for the finals, but I ended up winning. The next day, just barely, honestly, my teammate finished right behind me, but the 300 hurdles were not my cup of tea at all in high school. I'm a short hurdler, but yeah, that's people to this day, like anybody that was there and sees me will bring that story up to me, like saying that's the craziest thing they ever witnessed. Like even Jack, like a freshman on the team, when he says he remembers when he was young watching that and seeing that happen. That was the first thing he ever said to me when I seen him in the weight room. And I think it's just crazy that people still remember that, because like it was crazy, but I still forget about it happening. But like every time that I try to forget, or like I end up forgetting, someone brings it up to me and I'm like, wow, you were there and you saw that? Like that's crazy.
That's an iconic moment. I remember that was actually the first story I've ever heard about you. Before I even met you, all that people were talking about was Sam Easley. Actually, he went up to me. He's like, dude, you got to see this video, man. This guy named Darius Stuff is in our team. I was at that race. This dude fell over the hurdle, got up, and still won it. Like they said, they tell that tale and that legendary story like over and over again. And then getting to meet you, and then you show me the video, and then I think it was like, who's recording? Your mom or your girlfriend?
My sister.
Your sister was recording. And all you hear was, oh, and she just flashes the camera down, gets back up. All right, Darius, come on.
Yeah, then it's
Still
like up like nothing
race.
happened. Yeah.
Oh man, that story is awesome. And then it's just funny though that people still mention that on top of everything else that you have, like that you've done. They still think about what you've done in high school, and I think that just goes to show about how legendary or how iconic high school sports can even be for the state championships. State championships are remembered like on and on and on and on. And you mentioned before, I keep bringing this back up, but I think it's impressive how from the age of 12 all the way up to now, you just keep on smashing all these records. So I got to ask, if when you have a child, do you want them to kind of follow in your legacy for hurdles? I don't put anything out there, put any bad mojo for you out there by having a child or anything like that. But seriously, in the future, would you want your kid to kind of follow your footsteps, or take his own route, maybe football, maybe another sport? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, obviously, if you have a kid, like you want them to end up doing the sport you did, like
breaking your records.
Yeah, I'm gonna want him to break my records, of course. Like that would just be weird if I would just want my kid to not break my records. But
you never know, though.
But yeah, I don't think I'll force them to run hurdles. I mean, regardless, when they're young, they're gonna have to run track. That's just a non-negotiable. You're gonna have to do that for at least a couple of years, and then they can decide. But once they tell me they want to do hurdles, we're gonna go all in. We're not gonna half do it. We're gonna go all in. So I feel like I'd be a failure as a parent if my kid didn't break my records. That's just kind of how it has to go. I broke my dad's. He was in the top 10 at Lincoln High for hurdles in my freshman year. I'm pretty sure I either got into 10th or I knocked him out, because he was like 10th all time at Lincoln High. And then I ran faster than him my freshman year and kicked him out of the top 10. So it's kind of just how it goes. Your kid has to break your records.
Yeah.
That's the one person I would want to break my records. I'd be okay with that.
Exactly. Nobody else.
Yeah.
Something we always talk about here, the track team. I love making up fake stories of like putting things out there, but we always talk about like a track and field football team. We're trying to think about who goes where. And so when you played football in high school, I think you were a safety, right?
Yeah.
You were a safety. What did you bring most to the football team at the safety position? Was it just, your quick speed? Was it jumping? Was it catching? What did you bring to the field?
It definitely wasn't catching because
Actually?
No, my hands are horrible. I can't see anything at all. So like my depth perception's so off. I do not have hands. That's the only reason I wasn't playing receiver. But the thing about me, I was little, but I really didn't care. Like I would throw my body around like it didn't matter. I was really skinny and fast, but I was physical, and that's what the coaches like so much because usually a fast guy that runs track is kind of soft on the football field. But I really didn't care. I was just throwing my body around. But I was a good tackler, and obviously I was fast, so I could cover people. But I literally had like 2 career interceptions, but like so many deflections because I'd be right there to catch it. And especially if we're playing at night, I can't see at night at all. So like I had so many.
Isn't that only when football is like
right?
At night,
so that's why I didn't have any interceptions. Like I can't see at night. So like I had so many interceptions like right in my hands, and I'll just drop them. Like
it's like
yeah, I didn't have hands like that. I'm not gonna lie and say I had hands. But I couldn't catch a football. I couldn't see.
Hey, if it makes you feel better though, when we created like the all track and field team football team, you were the starting safety, no doubt. Like there was no question. Like everyone's like, what about this guy safety? I'm like, nah, bro, we're putting Darius there. Like, I don't care what people have to say about your hands, what they got to say about anything. So yeah, this has been an amazing podcast, Darius. I really appreciate you coming onto the show. This has been great. For anybody, the listeners out there too, go ahead and follow Darius on Instagram at Darius Love. Darius, if you don't mind, I'm gonna have you go ahead and close the show out. I'll give an outro of like overcast of what you thought about the show and where people can find you on their social medias.
I don't really do social media, so I'm not going to plug any social medias like that. That's fine.
I forgot about that.
No, I respect you a lot, Niko. You came in here and you got this podcast going, and you do your content. You work so hard on the track and your schoolwork, and I respect you a lot. That's why I'm always willing to come on here, just because you're a hardworking guy and you're trying to go for those dreams you got. So anytime you want me on here, I'm cool with it.
Always, man. Appreciate you, player. This has been the Niko Project, and we are out. Peace.
This is James Harrell with NP Dodge Real Estate. When I became a licensed realtor, I wanted a brokerage that would help me grow in my new career. I found that in Lincoln First Realty. When Lincoln First was acquired by NP Dodge, the training and support I received only got better. I love knowing I have the power of the NP Dodge brand behind me. I would recommend NP Dodge to new agents looking to jumpstart their real estate career and to current agents who want to take their business to the next level.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak. Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action. Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de The Alzheimer's Association y The Ad Council.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
I'm Christy. I used to smoke cigarettes. I had smoker's cough and severe shortness of breath, and I knew I had to quit. Then I tried e-cigarettes, but I just ended up using both. I really didn't start to get better until I quit smoking completely. My tip to you is just cutting down on the number of cigarettes you smoke isn't enough.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Yet another Nebraska winter is looming, and you know you're going to need tires on your vehicle. Don't fret, they are all on sale now during the October Spectacular event at Graham Tire Company. Buy 3 Kumo tires and get the 4th tire free with the purchase of an install package. Save big on Goodyear, Hankook, Nokian, and more. Big rebates on select Goodyear tires that will double when you use your Goodyear credit card. It's their biggest sale of the year, and it's happening now. GrahamTireLincoln.com, getting you to the places that matter most.
So what's this new concept happening at 1040 O Street? There's 93.7 The Ticket, there's the Mill Coffee and Tea, and there's Grandma's Bake Shop and Beatrice Bakery? Well, yeah, it's all of those things. It's a place for the community to hang out, grab a drink and a bite, and just chill, or work, or meet, or chat, or whatever you want to do. 93.7 The Ticket, the Mill Coffee and Tea, Grandma's Bake Shop and Beatrice Bakery, all together at 1040 O Street.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them?
By their clothes,
their age,
the way they speak.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Most parents have a homework schedule for the weekdays, but don't forget to cover the weekends. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. A good way to avoid a problem is to set a homework schedule for the weekend. Set aside a couple hours of homework time on Saturday and help your student avoid staying up late Sunday night to finish a project. Remember, communicating with your child's teacher is vital for student success.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the heart of Lincoln, America. Welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right,
We're
welcome back,
here in the
everybody.
Niko at
We're
Night
here
podcast,
live
and I'm
on
here in
the
Lincoln.
Niko at Night podcast here from 2 to 3 p.m. Before this, I had track and field superstar Darius Luff live in the studio. So if you didn't have a chance to catch that, it's going to be replayed throughout the week. Around, I want to say 8 to 9 p.m. or 9 to 10 p.m. It varies from night to night. But if you didn't have a chance to catch that, you can obviously go to our YouTube and check out that. As of right now, we're going to go ahead and jump into the segment. Right here, I have a local business here in Nebraska. If you guys are a fan of beef jerky, there's an amazing beef jerky shop called the Smoking Gun Jerky Shop. It is right there on North Street, kind of by TJ Maxx and Hy-Vee. And there's over 50 variations of different jerky you guys can try. Super good protein, low in sodium, some of the best jerky out there here in Lincoln, Nebraska. As I mentioned before, a small-owned business. If you guys can go ahead and support it, that would really help me and him out. Right now, you're going to hear a 10-minute segment of me and the owner. His name is Ryan Hall. As soon as you walk into the restaurant or the facility, you're going to see that Ryan, super personable guy. He's working there 6 days a week. So, like I said, he's a very customer-oriented guy, customer first. He's going to greet you. He's going to get to know you personally, and he's going to sell you some great jerky. So, without further ado, here is the Smoking Gun Jerky, Ryan Hall. Welcome back, everybody. We're back here in the Niko and I podcast, and I'm here in Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm here with the one and only Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall is a jerky shop owner here at the Lincoln, Nebraska Smoking Gun Jerky. As you can see behind me, you can see all these various different types of flavors. I believe over 50 flavors, correct?
Correct.
Over 50 flavors of different types of jerky you can try here today here in Lincoln, Nebraska. We've had multiple different student athletes coming here trying jerky, endorsing the jerky. I got to tell you from personal experience, the flavor is amazing. You got to try the Wicked Awesome. That is my all-time favorite. So I'm gonna have you guys today get to know who Ryan Hall is, get to know what he does here in the shop, how he makes the jerky, and why you should come and try out his business. Ryan, how you feeling about being on the show today?
I feel great, Niko. Thanks for having me.
So Ryan, tell the people, why Lincoln, Nebraska? Why here?
Well, Lincoln, Nebraska is the roots of our family. This is where we all grew up and came from, and we chose Lincoln here because Lincoln's very good at supporting small businesses, and we have the university just right down the street, so a lot of opportunities here in Lincoln, Nebraska for us, and it's been really good to us for 14 years now. So
yeah. In my opinion, you are in a prime spot. We can keep passing it back and forth.
All right.
I think you are in a prime spot, as you mentioned before. I mean, you're right here in the heart of Lincoln. We're looking at various different stores. You got TJ Maxx, Michaels. You got everything. This is a hot spot. And Lainey Cholboy, the Nebraska libero, she actually has a game tonight against Michigan State. She came in here the other day and she told us, man, I'm always driving to get past your guys' jerky shop, and I've always wanted to stop by. If you drive past the jerky shop, stop by. And so that's actually leading me into my next point. Why should the customers come to this jerky shop here in Lincoln, Nebraska? What makes you different from any other jerky shop out there?
Well, first of all, we have close to, like Niko said, 50 flavors. I mean, tons of options. It is made fresh daily here, so everything's fresh. Our jerky is full of flavor, and it is not too dry, but yet it's not wet and slimy like some of the other jerkies you'll get in the grocery stores or gas stations. And our employees, there's only a few of us here, but everybody here makes the jerky, bags the jerky, knows everything there is about the jerky. So everybody has the knowledge. If you have any questions or whatnot, come in, ask them. And our jerky is also probably close to the lowest sodium jerky you'll find on the market. So if that's a concern, then the sodium is very low. We don't use salts to cure it. We use soy sauce. So. Yeah,
exactly. As you mentioned before, too, Lincoln does do a really good job in supporting its small businesses. As you mentioned, you make the jerky every single day. It's not too wet. It's not too dry. It has that perfect mix. Tell the people, what is the most difficult part about having your own jerky shop? What does it take every single morning to go in, buy the meat, marinate it, to cook it? What's the whole entire process look like?
Well, that's a great question. And a lot of people wonder, they think jerky's a little bit, why is it expensive? Why is jerky expensive? Well, like you said, Niko, it's a process. You have to get the meat, you have to slice the meat, and then we have to marinate the meat, and then we have to cook the meat. And the cooking process takes anywhere from 5 to 6.5 hours. And then we have to unload the cookers. We have to individually bag it. And you start with 10 pounds of beef, and you end up with 5 pounds of jerky. So you lose about half of what you start with. And the biggest challenge for us right now is definitely the beef prices. Since COVID, they have doubled since pre-COVID. Beef prices and everything else that goes into spices, the marinade, everything else, the costs have really increased. And right now, that's probably the hardest part about running a beef jerky store. As for any business right now, probably that's dealing with similar things. So
right. And as I'm aware about your business, you guys are booming during the Christmas and kind of holiday season. And so it's been a real difficult, kind of like between the dead periods between holidays. So like Christmas, Thanksgiving, and then everything else is really hard to keep up. And I do notice when I'm looking around your shop, I see a whole bunch of different types of items. Can you go ahead and talk to me about this? Talk about, I see marinating sauce. I see a bunch of cool names in the back. Go ahead and tell us about these spices and what does Albert say, grilling as well? Tell us about this.
Yeah, I mean, we are not just a jerky store. That is what we do here. But we've also taken on, we support other small businesses in Nebraska, so we do carry a lot of their products as well. And we carry a lot of grilling rubs, spices, marinades, barbecue sauces, things like that. So we do have pellets for your pellet grills, which are made in Fremont, Nebraska. So it's another local product. Things like that. And we do have our own pellet grill that we sell here as well. So yeah, a little bit of everything. We have candies. At times we have pork rinds, things like that. So yeah, come check us out. You'll see what we have.
Yeah, there is a must-try thing he has here as well. I believe it was like the popcorn corn pellets or something along those lines. He had me try those last year, and man, I fell in absolute love with those. So I'm telling you, not only can you buy just amazing jerky, but you can get amazing spices. You can get some cool t-shirts here. Like I said, support your local businesses here in Nebraska. And so Ryan, my question I have for you, when you started your business 14 years ago, did you imagine it to be anything like this? And as of right now, where do you see your business going in 10 years?
Well, you just never know if it's going to work or not, and it did work, and we've had some good runs along the way. In 10 years from now, Niko, I would like to continue growing the business. Hopefully, we have more options. We're always open to new flavors, whatnot, and we do take into consideration when customers come in and give us an idea for a flavor. We'll try it out. If it works, it works. If not, we get rid of it. But in 10 years from now, I'd like to think we have maybe a few other locations throughout the state, so it's a little more convenient for people to come in and we have samples of everything, so people can come in and sample it. You sample it, you're going to buy it. So that's where I'd like to see us in 10 years.
Right. And something I like about this too, I mean, you've been doing this for 14 years, you still have this one place open, is that every single time you walk through the door, I mean, you're here right now, you greet me every single time you walk in, you greet every customer, you're asking questions, you're very customer oriented. Can I ask, where did you get that customer oriented mindset? Has that always been a thing for you these last 14 years? Is that something you've grown into, or is that just, a Ryan thing? Is that just a personal thing for you?
I'm going to be honest with you. I was a class clown in high school, so.
Actually.
Yeah. So, throughout high school and on, I was in the restaurant business, bartending, managed restaurants for quite some time, so I've always been around people. I love being around people, hearing their story, what ideas that they have. We'll talk about anything, whatever you want to talk about. So yeah, I couldn't do an office job where I wasn't around people every day. But yeah, that's basically been my life, is to be around people.
Yeah. And so there's three things I believe you're going to get when you walk inside this jerky shop. You're going to get 1, amazing customer service, 2, amazing jerky, and 3, a local Nebraska business that sells amazing prices as well. I mean, this jerky, as you mentioned before, 50 different variations of different types of flavors. It is just truly amazing, a great jerky. And so, Ryan, I got to ask you, to kind of close out this podcast. So you did mention you want to open up in different locations throughout Nebraska. What is your overall goal for this business? Do you have an end goal that you want to go to? Is this something that you want to try to get like a trademark worldwide, or would you like to just stay local here in Nebraska, Lincoln?
The trademark worldwide would be great. Some of the other big companies, I won't mention them by name, that do very well, but they do very well. If you've tried their jerky, it's just not that good. It's once you try fresh, made daily jerky, there's a huge difference, and people don't go back. Yep. So yeah, we'd like to grow, a couple other locations in Lincoln for the people south and the people north, and maybe get into Omaha and somewhere out west. But wherever we do go, we will make the jerky fresh in store. So yeah, you can always count on that.
Exactly. Well, Ryan, I think that concludes the podcast. You're doing an amazing job, man. As you can see, his goal is to grow and expand this business. So if you're ever driving across here in downtown Lincoln, Nebraska, or near the Memorial Stadium, actually give them an exact address. What's this exact street called? Where can they find you?
We're actually at 443 North 48th Street. Not to throw other businesses out there, but we're right next to Raising Cane's. Everybody knows where that is. So right off of 48th and R Street. Just north of Target. So yeah, please come check us out. Ask for myself, Ryan, or Nicole, or Chris, or Mason, and anybody will be glad to help you here. So,
your store hours?
Store hours are Monday through Friday, 10 to 6, and Saturday we are 10 to 5. Right now we're closed on Sundays, but that will change here as we get closer to the holidays. We'll be open 7 days a week.
Awesome. Ryan, thank you so much. And as you mentioned before, right here on North Street, right next to the Canes. You can find us anywhere. You can find us online at www.smokinggunjerky. Follow us on Instagram at smokinggunjerky. And this has been the Niko and I podcast. So, Ryan, thank you so much.
Thanks, Niko.
See you guys.
Welcome back, 93.7 The Ticket. We're here back at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, where we interview 5 athletes for you guys once a week. Today, I have a very special edition of women's tennis. To the left and right of me, I have 2 very special girls. One, Rafi Lacasse. She is from Lacasse. I'm already messing it up. Rafi, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people, your full name, because I just completely butchered her last name.
Hi, everyone. My name is Rafael Lacasse. Not Lacoste, not
Lacasse. I'm so sorry.
So many versions, but I love each and every one. It's
yes,
very
she is from Canada, so she is a Canadian last name. So Lacasse. French Canadian. She speaks fluent French and fluent English and fluent Spanish. Trilingual. Very bright soul right here. And then to my left, so I don't mess up her name, she's gonna introduce herself as well.
My name is Jillian Roa. That's pretty easy.
That is Jillian Roa. Jillian, where are you from?
I'm from California originally.
California.
Yes.
Jillian and Rafi. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start with Jillian just to make things easier. Why the University of Nebraska-Lincoln?
Because of right. So I lived in Spain for 5 years before coming here, and as a last-minute decision to go to college, I was just looking at some universities, and my current teammate Isa was from the island that I was training at. So I found out that she was coming here, and then I sent an email, and I'm here now. Yeah. That's how, yeah.
All the way from Spain. Isa is also from Spain as well. So we got a lot of Spanish speakers on the team here. How many do we have out of the 12, 13 girls do we have?
Actually, we're 8.
8 girls. 5 of them speak Spanish? 4 of them speak Spanish?
5.
5 of them out of the 8.
And one understands really well, so almost 6.
There are about, I think out of the 700 student athletes, I think like 200 of them are international students. So, Rafi, go ahead and give us a description on why you came to the university.
So, for me, I transferred from KU. So, and I remember I came here because one time we were in season and we played Nebraska, and for some reason, as soon as I stepped in Nebraska, I felt so good. So when I went to the transfer reporter and I was looking to the universities and I saw Nebraska, I was like, hey, like, this sounds like a cool place. And I don't know, the place was called, Nebraska was calling me. So here I am.
Here she is. And when I actually first met Rafi, unfortunately, she was in a boot and scooting around in a cart. Yeah. And I remember it was the first interaction. She was working out in the weight room. And I've never seen her before. It was my sophomore year, her junior year. So this past 2022 season, 23. Yeah. And we just hit it off right away. We were super cool friends. We had the same accounting class together. And she was just the funniest person. She still is the funniest person. But I just remember off rep, like the first week and a half of just knowing her, I could not hold in my laughter. I don't know what it was, but she was just a super bright soul. It was super good getting to know her. So I'm super glad she ended up here. It's crazy how this all just comes together to this university. So ladies, tennis at Nebraska. I've never picked up a tennis racket in my entire life. Can you describe kind of a day in the life of what it's like to be a tennis player? What do your workouts look like in the weight room? What are competitions like? Because I think tennis is not really talked about as much as the major sports like football, basketball, and volleyball. So Jillian, go ahead and start that off for us.
So currently Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we'll have like a practice in the morning, and then we'll lift in the late afternoon at like 5. And then Tuesday, Thursday, we'll have conditioning in the morning, and then we'll hit a little bit later. And stuff we do in the weight room.
Is it like lateral movement, or is it more power?
Yeah, a lot of explosive stuff. But I mean, we'll obviously do stuff with weights like squats and whatnot. And then Tuesday and Thursday, when we do conditioning, we'll do like stairs and just working on speed, agility, and I guess conditioning, cardio, and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys look at it though, like your guys' competition to matches, how long do they normally last for?
So honestly, like our meets, we start with doubles. That takes at least an hour, and then singles, like it can go to an hour and a half to like 2 hours and a half, whatever. And we warm up 1 hour before, so our meets are like 4 or 5 hours, I would say.
Wow.
So it's very demanding.
Something I would love to get into too. So you guys are very, something I could never do. I can. You're actually right. Track and like being in shape in track versus being in shape for a quick moving sport like that, I promise you I die out. I don't have the fitness for that. Can you guys talk about what it's like being an individual athlete? I feel like a lot of athletes nowadays are within a team. Me, for example, I'm in the track and field team, football team, volleyball team. Everything's a team. And you guys are the tennis team, but there's only 8 girls on there. And when you're going on that court, you're basically going alone. Obviously, when you switch it up when you're on the court with another girl, but most of the time coming to the university, you were performing alone in order to get a scholarship. So go ahead and talk about what it's like being competitive with other girls in your team, as well as just being an individual, how it feels being an individual in an individual sport.
Well, I guess it's definitely not easy being out there alone by yourself, but I guess with college tennis, when you play singles and in like a meet, you will play alongside all of your teammates. So while you are alone, you really feel like you're all playing for something greater, which is amazing. But yeah, you kind of just have to be tough about it. Sometimes I guess it gets really hard, but yeah, you have to find like the motivation and the fight to pull it out sometimes, even when it's really tough.
How is it holding yourself accountable and being disciplined? Because you have nobody else to blame but yourself. Since
That's
it is
true.
individual. How is that aspect of the game?
How is it? I guess you just know at the end of the day that if you're not going to do it, nobody's going to pick up the slack for you, and nobody can save you. Like, it's just you. And it's not like, if you're scared or whatever, you can kind of just take a step back and let another teammate do it for you. You got to do it yourself. So just knowing that, I think, is what makes you take accountability for yourself.
I feel also like having a battle 1-against-1, when you lose, you really like, it really hurts you. There's no one else that did something bad. Like, it was all on you. So that can be tough. But one of the things that makes my college experience so great is finally, for the first time in my life, I'm in a team. We do, like Julie said, like, we're all in one court. But I do feel I have teammates, which I never lived that before. And I think that's why, especially for tennis players, that makes like such a big, like, it's such a positive thing that we can find in college. And no one else, like somewhere else.
No, I believe both of you. I believe both of you guys gave amazing answers there. Like I said before, it's very difficult. The way you guys got here was playing individually, but now you guys have a team. You're all competing with each other, and like you said just before, you're on a court individually, and it sucks when you lose 1-on-1. But you do have 7 other girls on your side willing to pick you up and compete with you. So I feel like that's amazing. Tennis is a very unique sport. I came to one of you guys' matches for the first time. It was my first ever time ever going to a tennis match, and it was electric. So for anybody out there watching who's never been to a Nebraska tennis match, you would have to come out and support these ladies. They are amazing at what they do. So going into my second point, what is the most difficult part from your guys' day-to-day? It doesn't have to be about tennis or an athletic standpoint. It could be academic. It could be your busy schedules. What do you feel is your biggest struggle day-to-day?
I guess I would say it's more of like a challenge, because we do have a lot of stuff going on with academics, with athletics, and with, like, if you're part of a club or an organization or something, just trying to give all that you have. So, like, you're 100% whenever you do anything. It's definitely a challenge, and I guess it's a bit of a struggle too. But yeah, and also staying motivated to do everything and just to keep pushing through.
That's facts.
Yeah.
That's facts. Staying motivated. That's key for me. What about you?
For me, I try to be the best I can be in everything I do, because I do feel like it's all connected at the end. So for me, actually just being consistent with giving all my effort on a daily basis. Like, that can be hard. At one point you're tired and you don't want to do it, but yeah. Here.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. I think going from your standpoint, staying motivated with everything, especially when you're in the thick of the season. For you guys, we're kind of around the same time. You guys started around January, correct? Yeah. So my season starts in the middle of January as well. So we go from January all the way to the end of June, as do you guys. And my outdoor season for track is completely draining. Sometimes you don't even want to be there. It's just ridiculously just hard. It's hard to stay motivated with your grades. It's hard to communicate with your coaches when you're really going through it. So we feel for you guys, man, and not a lot of people out there really know what it's like to be a D1 athlete. So it's cool that we're able to see both perspectives of 2 different sports. So going into my next point, how would you guys describe the culture here in Nebraska? From not even just an athletic standpoint, but just going to class, making new friends, communicating with people, your friend, like everything. What would you describe the culture as? Because you're obviously coming from Spain, you're coming from Canada, and you lived in Colombia for a little bit. So what is it like here in Nebraska for you guys?
Like what the culture is like. It's I guess like everything feels really supportive. I guess that'd probably be my first thing. Meeting anybody, I guess as well, when you tell them that you're an athlete and whatnot, everybody's very excited. Well, not everybody is always super excited, but you typically do feel just like really like a family, and like you're supported, I guess. So yeah.
100%. There's this thing called being Nebraska nice. I feel like you've experienced that a few times.
Yeah, I agree too. And I would say, like, at least in our community as student athlete, I would say it's so family oriented. We all know each other. We all eat with each other. Like, we spend our weekends with each other. So I think that's something that we can all find in every, like, school out there. So for me, like, it is a different culture, but at the same time here, I do feel like I have, like, friends and people that I can talk to about anything, that live the same things as me. So there is a culture shock, but here, like, because I'm so good in my environment, then I don't feel that much.
That was different.
Yeah. Can we cut that part?
Yes. You're so funny. But yes, no, I understand both your guys' perspectives. Coming in, you guys are both coming from different countries. Obviously, you were from America, so you just lived in Spain. And then you were coming from Canada to Colombia, back to Canada, all these different times. So it had to be a big culture shock for you. For me, I came from Illinois. It's only 2 states over. So I grew up a Midwest kid. Coming here really wasn't that different. There was obviously a few different culture shocks where people would do something or say something, and I'm like, what? Like, that's how you guys say that, or that's how you guys do that? So I 100% agree. But ladies, thank you guys so much for being on this podcast tonight. You guys have absolutely rocked this. If you guys would ever want to support them.
You're so good at this, Niko. Great question.
Thank you guys so much. If you guys have one more message to the people, for anybody out there watching, or even let's say there's a girl out there or girls who want to aspire to be in the same position that you're in, even if they're in different sports, what would you have to say to them? You can go first.
Just have fun, working hard, and come support women's tennis at Nebraska. Yeah.
And I would say keep working hard, because the college life is really nice, and we get a lot of good stuff that comes with it. So you got it, girl.
I think that's the closing statement right there. You got it, girl. This is 93.7 The Ticket. Niko and Knight, out of here.
Get all of your favorite restaurants delivered with VenueDelivered.com. One place for ordering delicious appetizers, refreshing salads, hot entrees, fresh sandwiches, and more. From Venue Restaurant and Lounge, Piedmont Bistro, and all Lincoln Good Sense Subs locations. Download our phone app to earn rewards on all of your carryout and delivery orders. Available on Apple and Android, just search for the Pillar Restaurants app. That's the Pillar Restaurants app. Download today.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran, for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Kreekak, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
The dangers of secondhand smoke are well known, but what about secondhand aerosol, which is created when using e-cigarettes? Science already shows a secondhand aerosol can contain nicotine, heavy metals, and cancer-causing agents. Eliminating exposure to secondhand aerosol is an important step to keeping everyone safe. Breathe easier knowing the facts.
For help quitting, call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Hi, this is Pastor Tom. Did you know there's a place kids can seek out help when they're away from home and something goes wrong? They find themselves in a difficult spot or even a dangerous situation. Maybe another child is bullying them or a stranger is following them. Perhaps on a date and things just go bad. In Lincoln, here's where they can find help. It's called Safe Place. Safe Place is a national program for children taking place in thousands of cities across the United States. The People City Mission is sponsoring this program in our community and has set up a number of businesses, fire stations, schools, and nonprofits around the city to become safe locations where kids can seek out help. They just need to look for the big yellow sign that says Safe Place on it. Then go inside and ask for help. We will be quickly connected to them and ensure they make it back home or to whatever resources are needed. If you'd like to find out more about Safe Place and ways in which you can get involved, just go to pcmlincoln.org. Remember, when we all do a little, we change a lot.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as one pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
Most parents have a homework schedule for the weekdays, but don't forget to cover the weekends. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. A good way to avoid a problem is to set a homework schedule for the weekend. Set aside a couple hours of homework time on Saturday and help your student avoid staying up late Sunday night to finish a project. Remember, communicating with your child's teacher is vital for student success.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, 93.7 The Ticket. We're here back. Welcome back, 93.7 The Ticket. We're here live from 2 to 3 p.m. on the Niko and I podcast, where I bring in different athletes from Memorial Stadium and the Nebraska Athletic Department to share their inner and close stories with you guys that you wouldn't be able to hear for their competitions, to give some people and some athletes a voice and maybe inspire people out there to become a D1 athlete themselves, or just be more knowledgeable about what an average Division I athlete goes through from various sports. Here today, I'm going to do an interview with Omar Rogers. Omar Rogers is a hurdler, 400-meter hurdler from New York. He had an unfortunate situation where he had some messed up paperwork his freshman year and could not pursue his 5th year of track and field, but he is still in high spirits. He was an amazing athlete. He was fourth at the Big Ten championships. You're going to hear about him. And then after him, I have an old Nebraska star by the name of Trey McGowens. You know, Bryce McGowens, who currently plays on the Charlotte Hornets. Trey McGowens is his older brother, and he played basketball here in Nebraska. So enjoy the rest of the show, guys.
Back again at Memorial Stadium on the Niko and I podcast. Here to my left, I have one of my former teammates, Omar Rogers. Omar is a 400 hurdler transfer down from Illinois. You're going to get to hear a bit about his story. But to kick things off, Omar, go ahead and tell us, why did you choose to come to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln?
Honestly, came in here and graduated from Southern Illinois with my bachelor's. Well, grad school is expensive. Wanted to try something new, have like a new, scenery. Went on a few visits, went to Iowa, Western Kentucky, came here and, fell in love with the city, fell in love with the people. It was just a great all around time, coaches showed love and, I felt the love and, I respected it.
100%. Me and Omar go a little bit back. We had a lot of 4x4s together last season. We trained together a lot. And so right now we're kind of in a bittersweet spot. So I'm going to have him describe to you the situation. But some NCAA paperwork ended up getting mixed up for his 5th year. And we were hoping that he was going to come back and run it up for one last year in the 4x4 for an outdoor season. But an eligibility injury thing went down. You're going to hear the details here right now.
All right, so boom. Freshman year, I used to go to a school called University of Maryland Eastern Shore. Small HBCU Maryland, went there. Coming out of high school, everybody feels like they're invincible. You don't get hurt. You're that guy. I went there, ran indoors, outdoors started. I got hurt. I messed up a ligament in my foot. I was on crutches for like 2 months. Wasn't happy there. Was sad. When you get hurt, sometimes you get sad and depressed. I was down bad. Decided I wanted to transfer. Entered the portal, and while I'm in rehab, the coach told me, he was like, "Oh, since you're transferring, don't come back to practice." Kind of basically kicked me off the team. And I just never went back to practice. I started living life like a regular student, just like doing things. And then now that I'm trying to get my year back, they're saying that, I was cleared to they're saying now that my freshman year I was cleared to compete, but I chose not to. But I'm like, I was kicked off the team, so I couldn't compete. And now it's like, the paperwork, has the last word, so there's nothing I can do about it. So, just got to take that L and move on.
Man. That's an unfortunate situation, too, because like I said before, we were really expecting him to come back this year. We were going to be, 5-6 guys deep for that 4x4, man. And last year, we kind of had a bittersweet ending as well. Regionals 4x4. We never had a year or an event where we had all 4 of our guys healthy or all 4 of our guys running on the same page. So we never got to experience that. So you never know. There might be some luck out there where some paperwork falls through the files and he comes back. But so speaking of that, Omar, you're still here. You're pursuing your master's, correct?
Yes.
So go ahead and tell us, what was it like being a D1 athlete, and go ahead and run us by what it's like being a normal student now. The difference between that lifestyle. Do you still like to train? Is it harder being a normal student? Was it harder being a D1 athlete? Go ahead and walk us through that.
Personally, from my experience, it's definitely being harder being a student athlete. Like, being a student athlete, everything you do is centered around track. Like, people want to hang out, you want to make plans with anybody. Anything you want to do, it's always, it has to be between a certain time because, I have practice, weights and everything. That's like 4 hours a day, treatment, dinner. So, like, anything I wanted to do when I was a student athlete, I had to, plan it around everything else I already had, planned. But now it's like, since I'm not running track no more, which was like the core of my life, it's like, I have like, a big gap in my day where it's just like, what do I do with this time? I can get a job, I get an internship. I still work out, it's like, it's in my core that I'm not just going to stop working. I still work out, on a regular basis, but it's like, now it's like, I have so much free time. Like, usually when I was a student athlete, I would wait till Sunday to finish my homework because I was so busy. But now, my homework is done by Wednesday night. And I'm chilling the rest of the week. So it's like, I have so much free time now. It's like, damn, how do people, like, not be student athletes and then, like, still fail classes? Like, I don't know, man, but I have way more free time now, and it's definitely easier being a regular student.
Yeah. No doubt. It's intensified as a student athlete, no doubt. And I'm glad I got the opportunity to talk to you here because you get to see both sides of it. You got to see what it was like being a D1 athlete and then being a normal student as well. And that's pretty funny what you just said there. Beforehand, your homework being procrastinated all the way until Sunday night, and then now it's just being knocked out on a Wednesday just randomly. And you're like, dang, what do I do with all this time, man? It sounds nice, and it's hard to fathom that too because, like you, I've been doing track and juggling sports my entire life. Like, all I know is being a student athlete. So I know that time's coming around the corner, but Omar, go ahead and tell us, while you were a student athlete, what was the hardest part about being a student athlete? What was the hardest part of your day? Was it balancing everything? Was it the school side of things? Was it practice? What was the hardest part for you?
Don't get me wrong. Practice was always horrible, you know. But you know what Kobe says, you know, if it's not hurting, then you're not getting better. So, you know, I loved practice, but I loved competing even more. But I think the hardest part of my day was time management. Everyone's answers would be different, but I think mine was time management. Like, I was horrible at time management, so I had to really get my stuff together. You know, that was the biggest challenge. Like, you know, I was fine with school and practice and stuff. Like, you know, I knew what I was signing myself up for with practice. So, you know, I knew, you know, I had to put in that work if I wanted the results. Same thing with school, but the time management is what really killed me.
Hey, I'm going to give you guys a little story right here. So I remember last season, Omar, he was telling me, so I picked up this job at Walmart. You know, I'm stocking shelves. I'm like, oh, that's dope, man. So what are your hours looking like? You know, 11 to 7. I'm like, 11 to 7? So what, you just took the day off of school or what? He's like, no, like 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, you see, I have my classes online in the afternoon, so I can take those whenever. And I sleep from 8 all the way until about 3, and I can show up to practice. I'm like, bro, what? And then this dude right here still gets fourth to the Big Ten championship, still goes to regionals and puts up a respectable performance, and has just been balling out the entire year, splitting 46s in the 4x4. And I'm like, how does this dude balance everything? So you say your time management's bad, but that's honestly impressive to me because I've never heard of anybody being able to balance an 11 to 7 night shift, come back in the day and still be a D1 athlete, a functioning D1 athlete. But this man right here, he's just cut from a different cloth. So Omar, in this next answer, I'm going to need you to give me some censorship, but what's a fun day for Omar Rogers looking like? What's something that you like to do on your free time? What's relaxing for you? What do you enjoy? What's just a chill day for you?
Honestly, man, I'm a big gamer. You know, I knew 2K, I knew Madden, I knew Mortal Kombat, I knew Call of Duty. You know, those 4 games just came out back to back to back. So it's like, you know, I have a lot of games to play. But usually, you know, I wake up, you know, make some breakfast, game a little bit. Then, you know, I stop, do some schoolwork, eat lunch, game some more. I usually, since I'm not running no more, like now, you know, I prefer to work out in nighttime. You know, the gym is less crowded, you know, it's not hot outside, you know. So during the daytime, I just like do schoolwork and play my game, you know, just chill in my apartment. And I wouldn't go outside until like nighttime. So yeah, that's about it. Chill day for real.
Sounds relaxing. Like I said, whenever we used to travel, he used to always be the one to bring his PS5. So we were playing Madden with each other, and I just remember those times, man. I used to just stay up like super late, just messing around on the game after a track meet or something like that. So yeah, that's actually a pretty fun memory I have of us together. So Omar, go ahead to wrap up this podcast. So you're closing out your career as a Nebraska athlete. You're going into this next journey of your life. So where do you see yourself, you know, wanting to be 10 years from now after everything that you learned, not even just from this university, but everything as an athlete, everything within school? So right now, I'm going to guess your age, like 22, 23?
23.
He's 23. So, you know, by the age of 33, you know, where would you like to see yourself going in life? It's a deep question, philosophical, but, you know, at the age of 23, you know, what do you see for yourself in the future? Where do you want to be?
Man, at 33, I could see myself, you know, settle down, family, nice little 2 kids, you feel me? Nice house. I'm the type, I want to build my house from ground up, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, own some land, build a nice house, you know, maybe somewhere in the suburbs of New York, because, you know, I'm from New York. So maybe from like Queens or, you know, Queens or Long Island. That would be nice. Even Jersey, I'll take Jersey. Maybe in Texas. Texas is really nice. I like from South America originally. So, you know, I love the heat, you know, I love the heat. So, yeah, you know, it's a family, settle down, living, working. Studying to be a community developer, so, you know, working a nice little community job, you know, being able to give back to my people, you know, where I come from and people that, you know, actually need the help. So, you know, that's where I see myself in 10 years from now.
That's beautiful, man. Giving back to the community. And yeah, I should ask you that to start things off. From New York, from the Bronx, if you can't get it from his accent, but Brooklyn, New York.
Not the Bronx,
hey,
Brooklyn.
I apologize. I've been listening to too much Ice Spice, man. You feel me? But anyway, man, Omar, I appreciate you for being on this podcast, man. One of my close friends right here. So this was 93.7 The Ticket, Niko at Night, and we're out of here. Peace.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Whether you're booking a trip to Lincoln for a football game or a volleyball weekend, the Scarlet Hotel at Innovation Campus is the place for you. The Scarlet Hotel is special on many levels, from the delicious Well and Good restaurant on the main floor to the coolest rooftop patio bar in Lincoln, the Barred Owl, on the top floor of the hotel with great views of the city and one of the coolest drink menus. Book your stay or book a staycation today at scarlethotelnebraska.com.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding, and if you wanna come and test us,
if you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
this is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I'm Christy. I used to smoke cigarettes. I had smoker's cough and severe shortness of breath, and I knew I had to quit. Then I tried e-cigarettes, but I just ended up using both. I really didn't start to get better until I quit smoking completely. My tip to you is just cutting down on the number of cigarettes you smoke isn't enough.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
So what's this new concept happening at 1040 O Street? There's 93.7 The Ticket, there's the Mill Coffee and Tea, and there's Grandma's Bake Shop and Beatrice Bakery? Well, yeah, it's all of those things. It's a place for the community to hang out, grab a drink and a bite, and just chill, or work, or meet, or chat, or whatever you want to do. 93.7 The Ticket, the Mill Coffee and Tea, Grandma's Bake Shop, and Beatrice Bakery, all together at 1040 O Street.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years later, at age 28, Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I found out that I was pregnant, I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a better person and provide a better life for her. My family never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My support team is amazing. The educational director, my sister, and even my 7-year-old daughter has just been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket as soon as the clock hits 0 for the Jay Foreman postgame show. Listen to expert analysis from the Husker Hall of Famer, an 8-year NFL veteran, for 90 minutes after the game. The Jay Foreman postgame show, sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Kreekak, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zipline gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
So what's this new concept happening at 1040 O Street? There's 93.7 The Ticket, there's the Mill Coffee and Tea, and there's Grandma's Bake Shop and Beatrice Bakery? Well, yeah, it's all of those things. It's a place for the community to hang out, grab a drink and a bite, and just chill, or work, or meet, or chat, or whatever you want to do. 93.7 The Ticket, the Mill Coffee and Tea, Grandma's Bake Shop and Beatrice Bakery, all together at 1040 O Street.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, guys, we are into our final segment of the Niko and I podcast here. On this next segment, we are going to have former superstar Trey McGowan. Trey McGowan is currently performing overseas, and I had a chance last year. This is when you can tell my hair is a little bit different. I'm pretty young, but this is one of my first podcasts I ever did with Trey McGowan's. As I mentioned before, overseas, his brother's in the NBA, grew up playing basketball his whole life, comes from an amazing family. So everybody, without further ado, here is Trey McGowan's.
Trey McGowan's, the Nebraska basketball star. Hooper. Trey, how you feeling today, man? We're glad to have you.
I'm glad y'all chose me to be a part of the show.
Hey, man.
It's going to be a good one. Most definitely.
Hey, bro, it's going to be an amazing one. You already know we have to get some more melanin up here, get a little bit more diversity and inclusion with the sauce. Mix it up with the sauce, man. How we do it today, man? Just starting off with the day. What you been up to all day, man?
Being worked out this morning. Did a little pool workout afterwards. Went home, trying to move out my apartment. I want to just be out, so I ain't gotta pay rent. So.
Wait, where you moving to?
Stressful. I chose 2 days to do it. So.
Oh man, 2 days. Yeah. Oh yeah, you leaving tomorrow, right?
Yeah, leave tomorrow.
Leave tomorrow. Wait, where you headed to, man?
Home. And then I'm gonna go work out in Vegas.
Home to Vegas. In North Carolina, right? Or South Carolina. Yeah.
I definitely got family in North Carolina. I'm gonna be there this weekend for sure.
What part of North Carolina? I got some people in Charlotte.
Yeah, but I'm from South Carolina. Pendleton, South Carolina. It's 10-15 minutes from Clemson.
Okay. Love to hear. Yes, sir. Well, all right, man. Let's just get straight into it. So, Trey, you just finished your basketball season. I kind of want to take things way back, though, all the way kind of to your childhood, high school, and how you got to college. And I don't want to ask you just from an athlete perspective. I just want to ask you on a life perspective. How was it growing up through your whole childhood? Coming from South Carolina, like you said. Just kind of walk us through your childhood, man, your high school career, and how you really got here.
Childhood definitely fun. Just kind of where I grew up, just big on family. We take care of our people for sure. Just everyone looking after me. Me and my family, since we were young. We used to play football. That's really where it first started. That was our first love for sports. Yeah, the first love for sports definitely came from football. And then, just kept playing basketball, kept playing both. And then just finally, eventually, just stuck to basketball. But, just growing up with all the siblings. I got a little sister and a little brother. Just seeing, because my Bryce, you feel me? Bryce, phenomenal. It's just really crazy to see how he came up since he was young, and then just to see how my sister's coming up. Yeah. And just gonna be even better. So it's definitely fun. God definitely bless our family for sure.
Yeah, and that's amazing to hear. Man, I could tell just by the way you talking about your family that you you a big family guy. You love your siblings, you love your people. How was it? You said your little brother, your little sister, man. How was that impact to your life when they came into this world?
I can't remember super young, but just middle school, high school, it's just the regular siblings, y'all fighting and stuff like that.
Boxing.
Yeah, so you don't really start to think about it till you just grow up to now, just looking back on it. That really opened my eyes, honestly. I want to say my sophomore year in college, when I was at Pittsburgh at the time. And then just watching Bryce every day, watching his games on Huddle, the next day, all of his games, and then just seeing the constant growth, and how much better he's gotten.
Yeah.
Then every time I see him, he's getting taller, he's shorter. Then we finally got eye to eye. Then he just after that he had just taken off. And then just to see him like his confidence and just everything, just him really just becoming who he is now. Honestly,
Yeah.
Like obviously he got like a lot of growth to do, but just watching that. And then just watching my little sister like go through the same things we went through, like, with our father training us, our mom, you know, being a coach and stuff like that. So it was definitely tough. Just really just talking him through it, because like, I talked to Bryce like through it about just staying the course. Everything will take care of itself. It might be tough right now, and then just him being able to teach it to my little sister, and just being able to, they definitely make my family.
So, bro, you say your mom coached y'all, your father, your dad, your pops, bro, trained y'all. So, like, the whole family is like, y'all all athletes, man.
That's crazy.
Bro, how is that, though? Because, like, me personally, I ain't have no one training me, coaching me. Like, how is that to have your mom and your dad be the ones to be coaching you, training you, be like, hey, nah, this is wrong, you know, keep you tapped in, like, through the whole process of basketball?
It's definitely crazy to think about for sure. Like I said, you don't really think about it when you're too young.
Yeah.
Because it's tough. My parents were definitely hard on all of us. We didn't really understand it quite at the time then, but just looking back and just, where we are now, where we're headed, and just, I feel like that really just brought us closer together or whatnot. But it was definitely tough when we were younger. So
they was working,
man. Right, my dad used to have me and Bryce run this hill at Clemson. It's this steep hill. We used to run it with bands. Crazy.
It stick with you though, man.
Definitely.
It really build your character though. Like you were saying, like right now is when you really see all of it. Back then you was probably like, man,
screw this,
man. But like that's crazy though. That's amazing to think
So
about,
you
bro.
said your dad and your mom coached you. Would you say that was kind of your biggest inspiration growing up, since they were your coaches and obviously your family members too?
Definitely, definitely. Especially looking back at it. Just watching them, how people see them,
right?
Like leaders in the community, great athletes when we go back to their hometowns. They always talking about it. But most importantly, just how good people they are, and just how they raise us to be.
That's what's all about right there.
Most definitely. So, but you being you being a top tier athlete, you know, for you, what do you value most about being here and being a basketball player, and being able to bless your family, yourself, everything? Like, what do you look forward to? Like, is it the platform? Is it what you give back to your community? Is it the money in it? What really is the value when of you as an athlete, you think?
I don't know. That's a great question. It is definitely fun. Got its ups and downs for sure.
Definitely.
But just having a big family, just staying tight. I feel like that'll get you through a lot. Because you can imagine things they say like social media or whatnot, things like that. Just being away from things like that, but just staying close to your family,
right?
And staying tight knit. And if nobody got you, your family's gonna have no other. So you just gotta lean on them for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was going to transition to my next point. So, knowing you're a huge athlete, you play in all these big arenas, and there probably is a lot of pressure to perform. Like, how do you calm yourself down and really just prepare yourself to those big game moments? Is it reflecting back on family? I think I saw in your story one time, like I saw you meditating too, or journaling. You get into stuff like that. Like,
I started reading this book, Mind Gems.
Mind Gems.
Yeah, one of my close friends. I'm from Pittsburgh. He had been trying to get me to read this book. And then I was like, bro, what's that book called you told me to read that time? Because I really wanted to learn about just the mental, especially when I got hurt.
Right.
That was the first time I really you feel me, just assessed myself.
Wait, what happened?
I broke my foot earlier in the year.
Oh,
yeah, third game in. So just that was definitely a tough time. But I feel like the darkness and just being alone, you really learn a lot about yourself and the world. Just sitting back. Just being super observant of everything. Then I had a great coach who helped me mentally for sure. Kurt Joseph, our strength coach. He was with NBA a lot. Yeah,
he's a great guy, bro.
Yes.
When I my bad because
you good. We can talk about Kirk.
Bro, sometimes like when I be having my hard times, bro, I just go to the weight room. Like, I be in there by myself and stuff.
Vibe,
yeah.
right?
He'd be in. He would like pull up.
Incense lit.
Yeah, like
it's just the vibrations in the room.
It's so crazy, and then he'd be like the only one to make sure I'm straight. Yeah. Like he'd be the only one to like check up on me. Like this guy is like he genuinely cares about you.
Great person.
And, like that's all I love. All right, we continue with the you said it's called Mind Gyms.
Yeah.
What's like one thing like what's the most important thing or like the best thing you took from that book? Because I think I want to step in.
I mean, they got a lesson like in every chapter. Like all the greatest athletes got a chapter in it. Like A-Rod got a chapter. So Pele, I think he might have a chapter about something he wrote or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Just a lot of people, Tiger Woods, but I mean Derek Jeter, he was talking about it in the book. Just like when you feel like you had your worst game, like think about your worst game ever that you ever played, and then think about your best game ever. And then he was like, it's only one thing, why the reason, and it was just your mental. He was like 90% of the game is mental. And then like he was just like talking about that, like before every game, like if he's in a slump or something, he just thinks about his worst game, and then thinks about the best game he ever had, and then he just tries to think about like everything was mental, like in the game, and like it's just your approach, like how you are like throughout the game, during the day, you feel me, you just gotta be super locked.
Yeah, right. Yeah, most definitely. Let me get into your work ethic. So you're here, bro. You've been grinding your whole entire life. What do you think separated you, when you're working out, your mindset, like you said, is 90% mental. So what did you do that you think separated you from all the other athletes out here to get to where you're at today?
I just enjoy the work, honestly. I've always been a hard worker. Like no matter where I am, I've always been a hard worker. That's just something my family taught me to do.
Right.
I mean, nothing's ever gonna be given to you for everything. You just gotta work. Definitely hard work. But I mean, when I got hurt, it definitely took it to another level.
Right.
Like I said, Kurt, I always thought I could was going as hard as I could, because I would just be one of the hardest workers around everyone. Yeah. So and then when I got hurt, he just saw me. It's like levels. You feel me? That you haven't tapped into yet. So. Yeah.
You think when I had a couple injuries, I'd be like, in the beginning, bro, it's like really hard on you because you think about, all the work that you put in, like, is it for nothing, like this, that, and the other. Like, did you go through that process and then did you kind of get to this is a minor setback, everything happens for a reason, time for my major comeback. Like, did you kind of, what process did you go through when you had your injury?
First,
this is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
I mean, the initial reaction was definitely tough, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really know the time frame of it. It was from 8 weeks to 6 months. So I just thought the worst, I was like, if I don't come back in a certain time, I'll miss the season.
Yeah.
Or whatnot. And I mean, I knew it was gonna be the only season I got to play with my brother. So 3 games in, and then just seeing his reaction. I crushed him. So
yeah.
I mean, I feel like with him being here, if I'm down, then he'll know it. He'll be down. So just picking each other up and just staying up, because I know he's my younger brother, so everything I do, he just gonna look up to. So,
yeah.
Just really just trying to help him out, and the team out. Because I was a freshman at one point, having great games in the ACC, and just not having no one there to help me through slumps, tell me to keep shooting. You feel me? Just coach me through little stuff. So just my main thing was just to help him, and just help this team grow. Because we have a lot of young guys.
Yeah, you want to be that person that you didn't have.
Right.
Yeah.
So it just made me go harder in workouts and stuff like that as well. Because I knew they was watching me work behind the scenes.
That's deep, bro. Hey, you were there every game too. Dude, listen, I remember at that one time you went viral. Remember you were scooting? There's a big fight there, bro. What game was that at?
Bro, you were scooting?
Listen, there was a big brawl. This dude's scooting into the brawl with his thing with his foot messed up. I'm like, ain't no way. Like, dude, like, through everything, bro. You weren't even in the game, and freaking, you were still making an impact, bro. Like, that's something to laugh at. Your brother probably was laughing at that. Like,
Everybody was laughing at it.
dude, that's like super cool. I'm like, man, I know that guy. Like, he went viral. Did I ever tell you the first time I ever met him too? I was in the training table, and it was like my first week here, and I was just walking. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go ahead and just sit here. And I'm like, hey, do you guys mind if I sit here? Bro, I was at a table full of superstars, bro. Like, there was a bunch of volleyball players, him, and like, I didn't even know you at the time, bro, because I came from Illinois, and like, you know, I'm not that big on basketball, so I came here. He's like, yeah, bro, you can sit. What's your name? And he was like, my name's Trey. And here, add yourself on Instagram, bro. So he gives me his phone. Bro, I see 20K followers, bro. Whoa! Like, I thought it was a prank, bro. And I followed myself, and I was all geeked up. I was like, yeah, take it back.
I would have been over there pictures, post, add me.
Bro, that was just super cool, man. So like, I can tell, bro, you as a person, bro, like, you are much bigger than just like an athlete. Like, you have like really high morals. And like, it's something that like I look up to, and like that's something like my family tried teaching me too. But like, you know, seeing it like firsthand is just like, that's just so cool, man. Like, I don't know, I just got like, I'm like speechless right now, man. This is just cool talking to you.
I appreciate that for sure.
All right, everyone, that was the Niko and I podcast with Trey McGowan. So I really hope that everyone listening enjoyed the show. I'm going to be live from 1 to 3 every single Sunday from here on out. So if you enjoy the show, please go ahead, leave a comment. Follow us on all our social medias at 93.7 The Ticket. And this was the Niko and I podcast. Adios.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn